Hello.
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 What's up,
Hello.
everybody?
Hello. We
Okay.
we're going to be talking. Cool. So, what is the subject of today's talk?
All right, first, each person take the time to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
I am Ozone, or at least that's my alias in which you people can know me as. And for the most part, I am the voice of the people. I'll be watching the chat, and if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, there's probably no one watching at the moment, but any questions, comments, concerns, just voice them and I'll get it into the chat. And
Yes.
so yeah, next.
Stout, go.
Hello, I am Stout, and I play League of Legends, and I'm going to be talking about things because I really like watching the pro scene. Yeah.
Colt down, go.
I am Colthrum. I am a League of Legends player. I have been kind of off, but in recent times because of school. But I still follow the pro scene and still watch LCS, and here to offer some opinions and analysis.
Yay.
Yay. Okay.
Now to our host.
Yes. Hi guys, I am Haruki Shinigami. I've been a long-time League of Legends player, and I've been watching the pro scene since the very beginning, back in season 1. I still remember season 1 DreamHack. That was the best. So yeah, I've been following the pro scene for a really long time. So even though I'm not like the greatest player, I hope I have a little bit of insight into what's been going on recently.
Oh, I forgot to say. I've been playing League of Legends since since season 1, kind of, and then season 2. I've been playing actively since, but I haven't been following the pro scene since, I'll say, early season 3, after TPA smashed in the close match
That was
in
season 2.
yeah
TPA dominated.
yeah season 2. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I haven't actually been watching League. I haven't been following the professional scene that closely since that time. So, for the most part, this should be a learning experience for me, and this should be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Should be fun. Okay, so let us begin with the first roster change that was announced, guys. Nian stepping down. And the CLG stats.
And okay,
Well, the
so
first thing I'm going to
with
say is hooray.
Mm.
But I'll let Ozone go first, since he was so eager.
Thank you, Cold. But the way I see, like, Nian stepping down, to be honest, not that it's good for the team, but the way in which he stepped down was a little iffy for me. Yeah, if you watched the interview, and I have a link to it, but I forgot who interviewed him. But I watched the full interview of him talking about how he was stepping down and the reasons he had for stepping down. And for the most part, it didn't seem like he really wanted to step down. More so, everyone around him was giving him negativity and saying, you're not good enough, and demoralizing him to the point where he felt that he was like, I can't, he's like, I can't, no one believes in me, I don't even believe in myself. So yeah, for the most part, that's why I stepped down. And that really leaves a bad taste in my mouth. If you step down, with his chin held high, like Odd One, and you're even, to be honest, who else has been, we're gonna get there eventually. But yeah, like most people who've been stepping down recently, that would have been a lot better, in my opinion. It's just a lot of these pro players, although they are young people and young individuals, they get a lot of shit from the community. I feel like it's up to them to tame their poise, if you would say, and stay optimistic and stay, and for the most part, that's just my opinion. The way in which he stepped down and the way he went about it was pretty negative. And Voyboy 2 had this issue, and the video I posted where he's giving the speech of everyone saying stop, you don't deserve to be in the LCS, you should step down, go back to top lane. And he was getting really emotional about it, and it's a real problem for a lot of pros. But I guess Voyboy was stronger than that. He held through while Nian, he just couldn't take it anymore. So yeah, who's next? Back to you, Cold.
All right. So how I feel about Nian stepping down is, I believe you're talking about the interview with Travis Gafford.
I'm just sorry,
Would
I
that
just
be
had a minor
correct?
just had a technical issue, so I'm very sorry
That's
about
okay.
that. Hello.
I'll fill in. So basically, how I feel is I didn't really get the same vibe as you did with Nian stepping down. I didn't feel like he had too much external pressure, but in the case he did, I still think it's a good thing he stepped down, not because he's underperforming, but because he doesn't have that whole confidence to keep playing at the competitive level.
At a
If you-
professional
I
level.
agree. And that will
It's
leak
kind
in
of
later
like,
with
with-
CLG's new top laner, but yeah, I'll link it.
It's kind of like what Doublelift said. When you play when you play at a competitive level, you got to go in thinking that you're the best, that you can do it. And so, if Nian has a single sliver of doubt, and this goes with any other player, they're not going to perform at their best. And the best thing for them to do is to step down until they can reevaluate themselves, either as a sub or starting over on another team and working their way back up.
I agree, and that's what a lot of the challenger players have been doing recently. They've been going on to teams they've been going on to better teams, like of Shift. Well, maybe not better teams, but in the case of Shifter and Zion Spartan, they've moved along. They've grown into Dignitas, and maybe not so much Elo Hell anymore. Yeah, I think I'm really excited to see the next split. And sorry,
And back to what you said, Cold, and I really entirely agree with what you said. You have to go in believing that, if even that you can do it and that, you belong there and that, you can compete. And if you have even the slightest sliver of doubt, what's going to happen is going to affect the way you play. And I can relate to that because to some degree, when I finished Platinum last season, and I came back and, I was playing in Gold, and I was playing with, some low Platinum people, and I was in Gold 1, going into my promos to Platinum, a lot of people, even if I would play slightly better, I wouldn't play as well, people would give me all this shit and they would flame me and they'd be like, how are you, eBay Plat? I can't believe you're actually Platinum. And they would put you down. And the thing is that would actually affect my play because after two failed ganks, I feel as if I feel pressured not to gank because I'm like, I might fail again, the fear of failure and all these doubts, and it actually affects the way I play because I actually started to feel that I actually wow, maybe I'm not that good anymore. My ping did have something to do with it, but to some degree I really felt as if I didn't belong in that elo, and up until I took a
You went on tilt.
Blame
Yeah,
the lag.
exactly.
No, I'm just kidding.
for me, I went through a phase where I dropped from. I was playing let me try and think. Must have been I was around Silver 1, and I got to Silver 1, and I was almost Gold, and I was in my Gold Prime. This was a while ago. In my Gold Primus, and I won 2, and I lost 3. And for about a month, I would play out of habit, because a lot of me playing is habit, and the only way I could describe it is the music, the feeling, the rushes of adrenaline when team fights are coming up, the desire to, win your lane and to roam, and the satisfaction you get from getting kills and from playing, that was all gone. And I didn't feel it. And for me, that was huge. I dropped so far from that. Just from that mental I wasn't playing worse, but I was thinking worse. And it was, you can really see it in the professional scene, and you can really see how players who have a massive drive to win tend to do a lot better. Especially around the time of Season 3 Worlds and leading up to Season 3 Worlds, he wanted to win.
Yeah.
He was there for blood. And that kid, we've all seen the clips of him at All Stars on Thresh.
Yeah.
The kid was amazing. He was, but you could just see it in him. And that's kind of, he doesn't really have that much anymore. He's still the mechanic, he's still mechanically very good, and he's still a very good support, but he just doesn't have that oomph that a lot of players have. And it's the same with Nien. I feel like Nien probably is still passionate about League, but I feel that he doesn't have that mental self-confidence, that kind of, I can do this. Like, I'm sure that if Link played versus Bjergsen, he'd be like, yeah, I can do this. Or if
Yeah.
Mancloud played versus Bjergsen, he'd be like, I can do this. But I feel like if you put Link versus Dyrus or Balls, I don't, he's kind of like,
I'm
You
not
know,
saying.
like,
Yeah,
and
he
that's
has
a lot. That's a win in
That's
a
enough
win.
to make
That's
him
winning the
actually
game.
lose. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like
yeah.
Ian just needs to go back to his original role. Like he was an AD carry main. Like
That's the thing. Like, oh my god, CLG's got like, okay, so Link's an AD carry, Double an AD carry main.
Link is actually not really an AD carry main.
I thought Link was a jungler.
He was a jungler originally. He was not.
That
an
was
AD
it. Sorry,
carry.
sorry.
He was a
Like,
jungler.
and Afromu was an AD carry main in solo
Yeah.
queue.
Locodoco's an AD carry, mate.
Yeah, Locodoco's an AD carry main.
It's like,
Still
Team
is.
of 80 carries, but
it's like let's get 5 AD carries and expect it to work. It was really bad. Then it's like
Come on,
now
guys,
they've
it's all about
got-
potential and rotations.
Now they've got like rotations, just rotate everywhere. Like even if it does, I hate that so much.
let's take turns. But yeah, Toklum 3 actually brought a really good point before he or she left. I'm not sure, but he said, "I just don't let the haters get to me. Honestly, I don't even care what anyone says. I just mute them." But unfortunately, Nian doesn't have the power to mute the internet. Like he can't mute all his fans.
Can't
You can't
mute
mute
Reddit.
the hundreds of messages, and you can't mute Reddit. That's if it's been proven before. The internet cannot be silenced. So
I think the main difference is that you can't just, it's not muting the community or muting other people. It's muting the pressure because, when we play, it's for fun. Maybe we play ranked or competitive or we play in a tournament. It's nothing compared to playing it as your job. Like if Nian messes up, he's wasting his time in the LCS if he messes up. So he literally has to play at the best he can play and have his best be at the competitive level and above others. Otherwise, he's wasting his time in the LCS when he could be going back to school or working with another team or just spending the time to improve himself.
Speaking of stepping down, one of my favorite players, a very good streamer, renowned Nidalee player, known for keeping his legs up, Skara. Skara left Dignitas to become the coach.
He's still
And
technically
I'm-
part of Dignitas, though. You remember
Yeah, I feel like we should.
Scar the God.
Skara was. Does anyone here think he was underperforming?
that? No, I just felt like it's not that he was underperforming. He was still mechanically very good. I just feel like the current meta doesn't focus the champion
Doesn't fit.
he
Yeah.
excels on. It's like Scar is the reset king, but the reset champs have been put out. Like Yi got nerfed, like AP Yi got nerfed. Like Katarina's like not in the current meta. Diana
And Gragas as well.
is there,
with
but
his
she's
nerf.
not. His Gragas got nerfed.
Mhm.
It's like
Gragas got destroyed. He
yeah,
was
like
done.
his champions. Just
Like the second that patch came out, he was like, "I'm done with the professional league."
pretty much, yeah. Like his champions just got nerfed to the ground. They're no longer in the meta. So, but he still has a lot of game knowledge he can bring. So I'm glad that he's not just retiring and gonna step down from the professional scene. I'm glad that he's still staying, and I'm glad he's staying with Dignitas because he brings a lot to that team.
Okay.
I think you guys are taking the wrong angle with this because Skara is still a good player. He's
yeah, no,
definitely
Scar is
a great
extremely
player.
good. It's just I still think he can compete professionally. It's just like I'm pretty sure the reason he retired is because all of his main champion pool.
He's good, but he's not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily his champion pool. It's just that he doesn't have the time, the time and luxury to retrain himself as a player. However, he still does have all the years of experience accumulated underneath his belt, which is why he can still contribute as a coach. And when you look at the interviews, it seems like he actually is doing a lot of work as a coach. And he's just, if you look at all the roster changes, none of the players that were dropped are necessarily bad. They're all amazing players. They're just not godlike. And the players that are coming in are supposedly godlike or near godlike. So at that point, the ante is going up with the level of competition you have to play with and play at and compete with. Because, this is your livelihood. This is your job. You have to play at that highest level. And Scar, I just can't and the old guard just can't keep up with the new talent coming in. It's the same with any other sport. The modern day competitors of basketball or swimming or baseball way outperform, the pioneers of the sport. This was something that was actually brought up on Reddit, I believe. And so, as time goes on, Faker will eventually be outdone by the next Faker. So,
Yeah. Well,
of course, I don't know if League will live that long, but
yeah, we don't know. But the thing is, like, it makes sense that the older players start to retire is because as you age, your reaction time actually slows down and things like that. Also, a lot of players, like, staring at a screen can like affect your eyesight too. So there's a lot of like physical reasons why the older players are now beginning to step down as they hit their yeah.
The old guard is leaving.
Yeah,
Crying face. The old guard is left. All that's left is double lift and
Virus
X-Special.
and
no special.
Special kinda. He came in late. He wasn't at the beginning of season 1. He came in to the scene of TSM towards the end of season 1.
He came in during the peak of TSM, so I'm pretty sure that counts as
he does count
being there from the big start.
Yeah.
So there's Froggen, there's Dyrus, there's Xpeke?
Yeah, Xpeke was season 1.
Fnatic has been here since
Fnatic has been season 1. Most of the Fnatic players. Xpeke was one of the few that stayed though, because remember Shushay was also there.
Oh, Shushay is
gone. Yeah, Shushay.
But Shushay retired. He's coming back though.
He didn't. Like, he just kind of like went undercover. He just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
Well, after Dragonborn's kind of failed, he didn't. I mean, he's good, but he's not that great. I love his stream.
He made
AP
Gragas though. He made AP Gragas. Like, everyone credits like Reggie for that. By the way, fun fact: Reginald got the first ever pentakill in a professional game on AP Gragas.
Yes. Oh, I remember
Second
that.
fun fact: Reginald was 34 deaths away from reclaiming his title of the most deaths in the LCS. NALCS.
Didn't Nintendo take it away?
Yeah.
As a jungler. Nintendo's as a jungler.
When he returned, well, that's because, he stopped playing, but then when he returned in Bjergsen's place while Bjergsen was overseas, Kobe made the hilarious joke of hashtag 34 deaths the dream. So if he died 34 times in that game, he would have reclaimed his title.
So you guys know, I loved watching Reggie play in those games, because you guys know how, like, when a little kid is playing, like, when you're playing, like, football or soccer for the Americans, like, with a little kid, you kind of let them score goals.
Yeah.
I felt it was kind of like that with Reginald Zed. Like, Dyrus would just get them low, and then like intentionally not kill them so that Reggie could get a kill and look really good.
Do it, Reggie.
Yeah, it got to that point where he just got carried by his team, and his team had to do something to make himself look good. So,
It was so
but
funny.
honestly, it's a good thing he stepped down, because it's
I'm
the
so
same.
annoyed that his last
they were
game ever.
playing Dignitas, so
He should have waited for the patch, because then he could have made his last game ever on TF rather than fucking like Zed or whatever it was. I'm so disappointed that his last game ever wasn't on Teemo.
Well, speaking of Scarra, what do you guys think of the Dignitas roster changes?
I like it.
I like
It's
it.
good.
I just hope
Shifter
that
Zion is now Dignitas.
I hope
top
that they
and
don't
Mm.
that they didn't just recruit the biggest throwers in NA so that they could be Digna Toss. So no, but I really like the pickup of Zion and Shifter for Dignitas, other than that joke, because
I'm not sure about Zion. I'm not
well, no.
sure about
The thing is,
Zion.
Dignitas has been famous for a tri-lane split push recently in the past couple splits.
Like, okay, so like Dignitas is famous for throwing Baron, and Coast is famous for throwing everywhere else.
but that's the thing with Dignitas. PewDiePie has voiced his.
All they need is like double lift and
discontent
Afro
with his
bot
role
lane, and they can
currently.
throw at anything. They can throw it like first CS. They can throw at red buff. They can throw at wolf camp. Anything.
Maybe when
Throw it at level
Scarra
1.
That was the
when
worst.
Scarra
Okay,
was
do you guys?
describing the whole coast excursion, he was describing Dignitas' situation. It's like
Yeah.
they're
No, winning
up
until they lose.
They're winning.
But like, do you remember that Reggie's advice? He said, "Okay, guys, if you just don't lose,
You
you'll
win.
win."
Yeah.
But it was
But
so,
to be honest, that's actually
like, did anyone see that CLG game that was like 50? It was like versus C9. It was like a 50-minute game, and it was so close, and they just made a comeback. And then
Yeah.
Doublelift and Afro were just like, you know what? Let's go steal their red buff. Like at the complete wrong time. It was so bad. It was
But red
so
buff.
bad.
Red buff on the
buff.
AD carry would
Like,
guarantee a team
That's
fight
the
win.
most. That's the most Doublelift thing to. He's like, I need red buff to carry.
That's kind of what Doublelift would do. But
It was the most
No.
Doublelift thing I've ever seen.
no, but the reason I
What do
really
you
like
guys think about? What do you guys think about the overall team strength compared to the other teams, though? In light of all the changes, I mean, I think Dignitas
LMP.
actually hasn't improved. I don't think Dignitas has actually improved all that much.
I think Dignitas
And
has
they
made a
haven't
drastic
improved, but
improvement.
also on top of that, I'm a Cutie Pie has been voicing his opinion as to his discontent with
The
his
changes.
role. You know, he really is
Oh.
bored of AD carrying. He's sick of. Actually asked to get a roster change, but they denied it to him, and they constantly went on. And Scar even went to say their whole method of getting him to focus, like, okay, you know,
everything's a
you're
turret.
you're not an AD carry exactly. You're a marksman, and everything's a turret. You know, because he likes destroying turrets. You know, and you're like, the minions are turrets. Everything is a turret, and you need to destroy them. So yeah, that really gets him through the
And that-
last hitting. You know, the laning
The thing
phase.
is-
And
when I'm a Cutie Pie goes off, he really goes off. Like, who was he playing versus? He got this incredible like 1v3 triple kill. It was really good. It was like this amazing cleanup. Or like his Jinx. Remember near the start of the split when he was playing Jinx after their little like
Yeah.
kill after they beat.
he was
after
really
they beat
good with.
C9, and he just
He's
went
just
off
really
on
good
Jinx.
with 80 carries in general, and that's I guess a reason why no one would want to switch him because he's already
He's-
so good at the role.
Yeah,
So
he's
if
really
you-
good.
If
Like
if you accept
He's
his
not-
request to go into another role, Dignitas is losing a lot of strength and with the summer split coming up being the most important split, I don't think that's a stability thing they want to ruin, especially when they're coming in with two new players who both don't make good decisions. I mean, Shifter makes great decisions
is
on
my
a
best-
small level, but Zion Spartan is kind of very unilateral in thinking. What I think Dignitas would need to do to really improve is just say, Crumbs, you are now the shot caller. Spend the next 2
Yeah.
weeks, 2 months focusing on strategy.
That's
Or
the
you
biggest
look
thing.
at Shifter and you ask Danny to try and expand his skill set from just being mechanically good, which he already is, to strategically good. Somebody on that team needs to start sitting down and becoming an in-game coach, because Skara can't exactly sit in with them.
I think the biggest thing is so wait, sorry. It was either it was either Shifter or Zion that were the shot callers on
Shifter was shot caller for Coast.
No, wasn't
I
Zion
think-
Spartan the shot caller for
No.
Coast?
Shifter was.
Because well,
Zion was the captain, but Shifter was the shot caller. For the majority of the games, Shifter was shot caller.
so
because when I
for-
look at other sources, they all say Zion Spartan was the shot caller for the team.
But whenever I asked Danny or Shifter or Zion, they both told me that Shifter was shot caller.
anyway,
The only
You know,
reason
maybe it's just
The only reason that they always say Zion is shot caller is because Zion was team captain because he was the publicity person. Shifter is very shy.
Yes,
He didn't like
'cause
to do
everyone- Even
interviews.
his teacher calls him Zion Spartan.
And it was kind of like Shifter and Zion doing calls back and forth, like because it was usually a 104 split push being done by them. So Zion would be calling the shot calls for top, like the top, where whatever lane he was split pushing, and Shifter would be calling the calls for him, like his team of the four. Because Zion and
I
Shifter,
think-
they ran like Coast used to ran split push meta. That's like what they were good at, was split pushing with Zion. So Zion would pretty much, his calls would just to telling his team if two people came top and that they could initiate with the four of them in bot. And then Shifter would lead the initiations.
I think Loco Doco said it very well. The Zion Spartan's good mechanically for NA. He's good mechanically for North America, and he can't. But Monte Cristo added he can't team fight. And like you've said before, he
Even
can't
his
team
teacher
fight.
says he can't team fight.
Zion can't team fight. That's the thing. That's why I do like him going to Dignitas, because Dignitas also runs a split push, but their team is famous for not the dual lane split push like how of the 104, but they run a 131 tri-lane split push. And that's what Dig is famous for, and that they've been doing that. Like Skara did an interview once.
But you can't rely on a single strategy every single game.
They can't.
Especially,
but
they'll get used to it.
Yeah, but it's a good place to start.
I think the key thing here is
I think the best thing is that none of the members of Costa are the shot caller now, and it's all up to Crumbs. I like the fact that Crumbs is the shot caller.
Yeah.
Well, having the jungler as the shot caller is a really good thing, because they have more insight as to what's happening around the map, and they don't make the they monitor things better. But for the most part, as you guys were saying, it becomes really predictable if you have the same strategy over and over again. And backtracking to the Koreans and why they're so good is because they have multiple strategies, and as you said, Stout, they have up to 15 strategies written down, practiced, ready to go.
Just for one game.
For one game, so that whichever way the game goes, they have a ready strategy and a go-to strategy to execute, rather than most of the NA teams who, they just kind of feel their way through the game, and it's like, oh wait, should we go this? And it's sometimes even the shot calling isn't that direct, or they don't have one true shot caller, and it's just a mixed decision. And
the thing is, it's confusing because they say that Crumbs is the shot caller, and that's never ever been the case. For as long as I remember, Gara has always said that I'm a Cutie Pie was the number one in that team. Because I'm a Cutie Pie is their best player. He has always been their best. And I think Skara once said that, or it was one of their players, that if I'm a Cutie Pie says something, then that's word. That's what happens.
I think that's because I'm a Cutie Pie was the late game team fight shot caller. That's where this is where people get really confused. Is many teams often do not have a single shot caller. What they have is they have an early game shot caller and then the late game shot caller. And
like
oftentimes
Dexter on CLG is the early game, and
Double Lift is
the late game.
I thought it was Double Lift.
Yeah, sometimes you have that jungler be the early game because they control early rotations and early pressure, whereas you then have an AD carry who's protect the double lift, protect the AD carry. They're literally the head of your 5-man roster.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to I'm a Cutie Pie having a team with a backbone.
I'm looking forward to Danny and I'm a Cutie Pie literally going 2v5 over the summer split against these amazing players. We're gonna see Mechanic God versus Mechanical God.
If I'm gonna be very honest, I think I feel like, especially Cruiser and Skara, maybe not Skara. Skara was very good. Cruiser got pushed around. Cruiser was very easy to push around. You'd watch Dyrus. Dyrus would bully him, and the team would bully him.
Dyrus isn't even the best top.
And they would control him. They would push him around, and they would make him go where they want him to go. Much like how the finals for this split went. How they just bullied Dyrus. They would just beat the shit out of them. Sorry, can I swear?
Yes, you can.
They beat the shit out of Dyrus every team fight. It felt like Dyrus was CC'd the fucking series. And I am looking forward to Dignitas having a backbone. Having a top lane that's like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, set in their ways. I like the idea of them having a very strong, aggressive mid laner rather than the very passive mid laner that Skara used to bring. Well, unless Skara was playing Gragas, obviously. And I like the fact that I can feel it. I can feel the. I'm excited. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for them.
Yep. But actually, about that thing about Dyrus, let's head over to TSM now and talk about the craziness of TSM.
Yes.
And TSM and their goal of hitting Worlds this swap. Because as we all know, TSM is the only team to have gotten to Worlds all for the past 3 years. So season 4 they got to get to Worlds. So
Odd1, X-Special, and Dyrus and Reginald, I think, are players who there are 5 players who have been to every Worlds, and I think it's Xpeke, Dyrus, Odd1, X-Special, and Reginald, I think. They've been to every single Worlds.
This is Reggie's first year not going to Worlds. Because he's no longer playing. Xpeke, Dyrus, they're all going to Worlds. Xpecial might not though. That's the thing. As we said, Xpecial has left TSM.
More so, he was benched in the.
Then he left.
Then he left. Yeah, actually, he didn't.
To anybody who has ever seen an episode of Game Cribs, it's really easy to understand why Xpecial would leave, because him and Reginald have had attitude and communication problems for years. Reginald and Xpecial used to fight to the point where Xpecial was near tears, and he would just have to eventually. The only way to get the fight to stop was if Xpecial would just say, "Reggie, okay, you're right," and just Reginald will just always have to be right.
And see, that's the reason why most of the League community really hates Reginald.
Yeah.
And the one video that got really popular was when he had his fight with Dyrus, in which Dyrus slammed his keyboard, and he was during solo queue. And they were, I'm sure, if for those of you who didn't watch it, essentially what happened is, so Dyrus is streaming in the living room, and Reginald comes over and he's making a lot of noise and he's being pretty loud, and Dyrus politely asks him, yo, can you please keep it down? I'm streaming. And then Reginald's like, yo, this is everyone's room. And then Dyrus is like, okay, whatever. And then he drops it. Dyrus is like, whatever, Reginald doesn't really want to be quiet, doesn't really matter. But Reginald, on the other hand, he starts to harp at him and really starts to get under his skin and just constantly comes back at him. He's like, no, why are you telling me to be quiet? This is everyone's room. Why are you being so authoritative? And then he's like, okay, whatever, I'm sorry. And he's like, brat, what are you sorry for? He's one of those people who want you to pretty much lick their boots and be like, oh, okay, I'm really sorry for doing this XYZ, and I'm sorry for stating that, to asking Overlord Reginald to please be quiet when this is everyone's room, and so on and so forth. And Reginald just kept harping at him. It's like, what are you sorry for? You need to stop being such a brat and blah, blah, blah. And it pushed Dyrus to the point you can see the frustration building up upon him. And Dyrus even said it himself. He was like, after he's already said, I'm sorry, you should just let it go. He's like, you do this to me, you do this to Xpecial, you used to do it to Chaos, he does it to everybody. And, being a young millionaire and, with all your responsibilities as a player at the time, and as the group manager, coach, and the players. So, it's a lot of responsibility to juggle, and the frustration does build up. But, it still doesn't give him in my opinion, the excuse to harass his teammates about, or use them as a means of getting rid of their frustration. So,
I don't know. I feel that TSM had a very strong roster for a very long time. They were kind of forever. Curse could beat them. Some people could beat them. They were just a team, but they were popular, and they were they're TSM. Everyone liked them. They were TSM, but they weren't ridiculously dominant. They're gonna crush everyone. It wasn't oh, someone who isn't C9's gone up against TSM. Well, they've lost. It's it wasn't like that. It was oh man, Dig versus TSM, and oh man, Curse versus TSM, and oh man,
it wasn't like season 2 where TSM won
everything. Really exciting.
Yeah, and
every game
now,
was exciting.
It's all right. Reginald retired as a professional. One of the best mid laners, if not the best mid laner in Europe, came over and became TSM's mid laner. Because Bjergsen was expensive. Bjergsen is not a cheap player. Bjergsen is not like people kind of think he's like some kind of guy that they just picked up from the amateur scene, like some just like lower bracket mid laner. Like Bjergsen has always been huge. Like since he has been in League of Legends as a high-elo player, teams have wanted him. He played professionally with TSM in online tournaments when Reginald was sick and stuff. Like he has subbed for TSM for a while, and Copenhagen Wolves wanted him, Ninjas in Pajamas wanted him, and the issue was he was like 14. Like the guy was diamond. The guy was like diamond. He was like 2.2. He was like top 1% since he was like 13.
He was like the old XJ9 before he got you know.
Well, think about it. He's the same age as Faker. Like he's incredibly good. And people don't understand that he has always been wanted by a lot of teams. And like the thing is, TSM was one of the few teams that could afford him. Like, because like that kid is worth a lot of money.
He ain't cheap.
Yeah.
He ain't cheap. And like they brought him over, like one of the most expensive mid laners, and like suddenly TSM became the strongest team in North America for like half a split. They looked unstoppable. And like, I'm gonna be honest, the reason they kind of began to slip was their bot lane and their jungler. Like Odd One's an excellent juggler. Like I have a special place in my heart for the Odd One. The Odd One is amazingly good, and I have so much respect for the general.
It's the same thing like with Skara. It's the meta changes, and you know his champion style was the utility jungler, and he began to be forced into playing these high bursty assassin Wukong Kha'Zix type of junglers, which really, to be honest, in my opinion, threw off his game a little bit. And he still performed, and he still made like all the great choices, but you know it's not his comfort zone. You know, Odd One on Maokai. But for the most part, as you said, their bot lane was underperforming, and I think it's because of the communication issues that they had with the X Special and the rest of the team.
By underperforming, it's not like they're the worst in the league. It's like they weren't.
Yeah, they weren't playing terribly. It's just that they weren't. You know, Wild Turtle gets a triple kill bot lane, like they were back in
Season 3 Worlds. They were the strongest bot lane in the world, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Like at the time of the Season 3 World Finals, they had the strongest bot lane. Like in terms of stats, their bot lane was stronger. They never lost lane, and like they didn't even lose lane versus SKT. But now it's like, okay.
I think it's just with the attitude thing, and the way now with X Special, I think it's best for everyone that X Special left. You know, he himself said, you know, he was a very passive aggressive person. You know, just pretty much at the end of plays, he would, I don't know, they weren't performing that well, and so for the most part, X Special, it's great. It's great for him that he left, so he can leave Tyrannical Reginald, and also it also opens up space for others to come in, and for
Like
Wild Turtle to find a new partner. Glebe Glove Glue.
TSM Glee Glarbu. His name sounds like a pile of snot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that's what I think every time I hear his name.
I just call it Glebe Glove
Glebe Glarbu.
Oh,
Glebe
sorry, my
Glove
computer just died slightly. I think I need to like rebuild my computer because my graphics card is dying. Because my computer's been on for what month is it?
It's May.
It's been on for about half a year.
You never turn it off?
I sleep with streams on. Anyway, I honestly.
So, what do you guys think of the addition of TSM Amazing?
I think it's going to be amazing.
I
said it.
I think
The words right out of my mouth.
it was
So
a really
with,
good
I
pick.
can't wait to watch.
With the
I
expensive
can't wait to
Bjergsen
watch
coming
Bjergsen.
in and Amazing coming in.
I can't wait to watch Bjergsen and Amazing just shit stomp NA. Like you could just have Dyrus and like Turtle and like Leap
Play, go even the way they usually
could
do.
just go AFK. They could just go AFK. Like,
But that's the
it's
thing.
done.
With
It's done.
as
They've
you're
won.
saying,
Like,
Amazing and Bjergsen are gonna have a lot of synergy. because of his aggressive European
okay,
meta
so
playstyle and
we didn't discuss this
Bjergsen's
on
aggressive
stream.
playstyle.
Basically, there are two types of European playstyle in the mid lane. There's a passive playstyle where you sit back, relax, play Anivia. You go put some dinner on. You just sit back, press R, you're farming lanes. You'll play Galio, still just sit back, farm lane, or you'll play Orianna, just sit back, farm lane, carry late game. And there's the aggressive, and that's the style that was the style that Frog and Alex Ish were very known for around Season 1, Season 2. Like, they play like Karthus and all that. And then there's the really aggressive kill lane, destroy your lane and roam. The
LeBlanc
Bjergsen,
and Zed players.
LeBlanc, Fizz, Zed, Ari. That was like Season 3 though. And like that's what Fnatic, and Karthus, that's what Fnatic Xpeke is known for. That's what Bjergsen is known for. That's what, who else is known for that? Geez, like all the old mid laners have like gone, or they aren't a thing anymore. But yeah, they're known for that. And Bjergsen plays that incredibly well. Like Alex Ish transitioned into that recently, but yeah, well, he did transition into that recently, and then he went back to the farm meta. But like North America isn't used to that, because what North America plays is they don't play these farm heavy mid laners. But they don't play these stupidly insane kill lanes. They just kind of play, like they'll play Zed, and they'll like go for solo kills, but they won't play as aggressive, and they won't roam and they won't make things happen. They won't make things happen as much. And the thing is, Europe is a mid-focused, region. Our entire meta is just mid, must roam and destroy everything. Like, I mean, sure, you can play AD carry and you can carry a game, or you can play top and you can become so tanky that they can't kill you. But the thing is, like, in professional play, mid is where it's at in Europe. Mid is the key lane. That's your best player. That is your
Zed,
in
Ari,
Dota, they're your
before
number
Lich
one.
Bane
Like,
nerfs, yeah.
and it's like Bjergsen plays that, and the North American mid laners don't know how to react to it. And recently they've become a lot better with it, because what they will do is they will ban out LeBlanc, and they will understand the odd one won't be as aggressive with Bjergsen. As long as you have a jungler around, then you should be okay. Like, Bjergsen had this, like, I've seen a video, Bjergsen kind of had this stupid thing going on where he would always get a solo kill before 7 minutes. Or before level 6, he would always get a solo kill. It was just like, it was almost expected. It was almost like you'd watch a game, and then like 7 minutes into the game, Bjergsen gets killed, first blood. And and they've learned how to play against it, but the thing is now Bjergsen has a jungler that plays like that. And now it's not going to be like, oh, Bjergsen's going to all in me and my jungler's going to turn up and save me. Now it's going to be Bjergsen's going to all in me, and his jungler's going to turn up and he's going to kill our jungler.
They're going to dive you.
Exactly. It's like, that's European aggressive meta. It's, we're going to push you up to your tower, we're going to dive your tower, then we're going to go roam bot, and we're going to push them up to the tower and dive their tower, and then we're going to take dragon, and then we're going to go mid, and we're going to shove mid, and it's this ridiculously aggressive meta, and I really, really think that Bjergsen and Amazing, like, I don't think that North American junglers and mid laners, I don't think North America knows how to deal with it yet. I don't think they've learned how to
They're going to be able to keep up, yeah. And as you said, I think they're really going to perform versus Bjergsen and Amazing. They're going to dish it out to the table. And Darius has been known, or he has the record of just going even in lane. Like, he never lose. It's the only time in which he was really just cheesed entirely is when they did a lane swap and he played Mundo, which I really don't know why they kept doing it over and over and over again. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. But
you can't even
for the most part,
lane really, can you?
Yeah, exactly. Lane swap, it's not really. But it's like, he didn't even have a laning phase. But for the most part, laning phase, Darius usually goes even. Now with the
That's the thing about Darius. It's not that he goes even. It's that you can't really beat him in laning phase. Like, that's just his playstyle. He's just really unbeatable. Like, you never win against Darius. You just kind of go even.
Yeah, because he plays a really safe and consistent game.
Yeah, and it's not that the other players are bad so that they aren't getting a one up on him. It's just that he's so good that people just can't get one ups on him. Like, think if he made one mistake, it would just snowball all on him, and he doesn't. He doesn't make those dumb mistakes, and he will never lose lane. Like Balls could lose lane, Balls could go too aggressive and lose lane, but the only time he like dies in his lane, like loses his tower, is when he gets dove. And they dive a lot, and that's the issue with Dyrus. Dyrus will never lose lane, so they have to send the jungler top, or else it'll just be even, and they'll end up having a late game Mundo, or they'll end up having a Renekton that wins lane, because Renekton going even is, well, Renekton wins lane, it's how it works.
Yeah, it's, well, except against Kennen, but yeah, nobody really plays Kennen anymore. But yeah, for the most part, Amazing and Bjergsen are going to deliver, Dyrus is going to go even, and if Wild Turtle and Glib Glob are able to go at least even in lane, in my opinion, they're gonna
win. Like the thing is, like Amazing is just gonna wipe. I honestly think Amazing can be a better jungler than the difference between Amazing and Meteos is they just give all their farm to Meteos. Meteos gets like almost all the gold in that, or it did for a while. Like they just give Meteos so much gold, and the thing is, if TSM can get down their transitions, their rotations, their map movements, then they'll be the best team in North America, because I honestly think that Amazing can be a better jungler than Meteos, because Amazing's very strong. Like Amazing's mechanics are very good, his decision making is very good, he understands how he's very good with European mid laners, and he should have good synergy with Bjergsen, because they're both incredibly aggressive players and they like to play very strong early fighters like Lee Sin, LeBlanc, like those kind of we're going to kill you levels 1 through 11 kind of things, And I'm really looking forward to it, because I think the difference between Meteos and... I feel like Amazing can do better without farm than Meteos can. If Meteos doesn't get farmed, then he's fucked. But the thing is, Meteos is always going to get farmed, because they're just going to give him all the farm.
Yeah.
And like, Meteos can't get away with as much as he used to. And the thing is, like, C9 have never played a Korean team, whereas TSM have. Think if C9, they somehow got to the finals and they played versus, I think there's Monte Cristo. Like, Meteos wouldn't have taken second blue from High. Like, that would have never happened if they had to play versus a Korean team. That would have been the stupidest thing, but North American teams just let them get away with it. But yeah, I think TSM's going to be rank 1, rank 2 next year.
And before we move on, I want to hear you guys' opinions on their decision to pick Amazing over their existing substitute, which was Nightblue 3.
The community cry of Nightblue 3.
The community has been in outrage. There's outrage. How dare they bring in this European jungler when we have our gracious Nightblue, who's so good in solo queue.
And
the answer is quite simple, in my opinion.
Crush some dreams. The reason
I think the answer is really simple, because Nightblue is simply a sub, and in case of emergencies. And right now, they need someone who already has experience, who's already proven himself on the LCS stage, because the upcoming split is the summer split. It's not the spring split where you can test out your team and mess around. Summer split is the split for everyone. Performing in the summer split leads to the World Championships, and they definitely cannot risk having a sub play when they could hire a ringer who's already proven himself. I mean, that's what Amazing is. He's just a ringer for the team to carry the five-man roster to World Championships.
I think Odd One said it best. They want to win Worlds. And think, what are they going to do? They're going to get some guy who's like rank whatever in solo queue?
With no competitive experience?
Who's never played professionally.
He hasn't even played in an amateur scene.
A guy who's never played in the amateur scene, a guy who's never played on LAN. What are they going to do? Take him in for one split and take him to Worlds? What? No!
And the thing is that on top of that, as we stated earlier, that the Koreans carefully study and strategize against you as junglers. And you even said that the Koreans, they invade your jungle and they play super aggro. They attack you in your jungle.
That's actually,
and with that solo queue mentality and streaming 24/7, they'll know all his mistakes. He's just easy pickings for the Koreans.
And you can ban him out. You can ban him out so easily.
He does. He has a small champion pool compared to many.
Let's put it this way: who do you ban? Who do you ban versus TSM? You ban
LeBlanc.
You ban LeBlanc, and who else do you ban? You ban Kha'Zix, you ban LeBlanc, and you ban Xin Zhao. There you go. No useless thing. No Kha'Zix, no Xin Zhao. He doesn't play any of the other Feral Flare junglers, and Pantheon and Wukong fell off. Vi's okay, but people can deal with Vi. Like, Vi isn't as strong as she used to be.
Yeah, after the Elder Lizard nerfs as well as nerfs. She's just not as strong as she used to be.
And the thing is, okay, going back to a point I said earlier, you know how I said that the Europeans play this hyper aggro two jungler kind of, like, they are, like, the mid will just dive you and then roam? Like, that's what Korea plays, but in every lane. Bot lane, they'll dive you, then they'll roam. Top lane, dive you, roam, invade your jungle. Like, every single lane is a jungler.
Yeah,
They're
and I don't think
constantly on the
would
move.
be able to deal with that.
Exactly.
He easily goes on tilt in solo queue. I mean, how easily could he go on tilt in a professional scene?
And that's the thing.
That's
Amazing
more pressure.
has this kind of, you can see it in the way Amazing plays, the way that he plays the map, and the way that he just is. He wants to fight. He wants to play, and he wants to just take, like, he just wants people to come at him. He wants to fight people in the jungle. He wants to make plays, and he wants to dive people. Like, the kid's really, really good, and it's really fun watching him. And I don't think any North Americans really have that in terms of junglers. Like, I don't think Meteos, like, plays the same way he does. Maybe besides Broken Shard. Broken Shard plays the same way he does, but Broken Shard plays a lot in Europe. Well, played a lot in Europe. Played European solo queue.
One of my last points about the reason why Nightblue wouldn't replace him is Nightblue doesn't need to play in the professional scene. He is one of the few lucky streamers who has actually made it as a streamer. He would actually make less money in the LCS, even with the signed contract with the team, than he would streaming. Because last time he counted and checked on stream, which was a few weeks ago, he had 7,000 subscribers. That is outrageous, because subscribers, it's $5 a pop, about $4 of that is gonna end up going to him. That's a lot of money. That's something no other streamer is even near. Like, he made it as a streamer, and if he were to suddenly become a professional player, he would never be able to stream as much. The TSM guys maybe stream, like, they would stream 4 hours a day. Nightblue streams, like, what, 8 to 12 hours a day? And he gets to wake up and stream whenever he wants. He doesn't have a schedule other than the fact that he streams every day. Like, that's the thing. Like, Nightblue he would be losing out on money. He would lose out on all of these subscribers he's had because he would suddenly stop streaming. He wouldn't be streaming as much. He'd be streaming at different times than his viewers are used to. And it's just like, there's no point for him to want to become a pro player like that. Like, he made it for himself without becoming a pro player. Well, he really doesn't need to do it. So a lot of people, they need to get into LCS because they didn't make it as a streamer. There's a lot of streamers out there who are in the LCS that when they stream, they get 200 viewers. Pobolter's one of them. Pobolter only gets 200, 300 viewers, and he's in the LCS. He needs to be in the LCS to make money.
I used to watch a lot of from Maple Street. He would only get and he'd only get 4 people talking in chat. And he'd play video games. He'd say, "Hey guys, do you want to play some video games? I'll play with you." And he'll play this guy is in LCS, and he'll play video games, or he'll duo with his girlfriend. He's a really nice guy, and he's really entertaining, he's really informative, and he's really engaged with the chat because he was on Velocity. It's, I don't know. Sorry, someone go. I was brain dying.
So we mentioned Curse or X Special earlier, right? So we should bring up like how Curse now, like since X Special has gone to Curse.
The race for 4th.
The race for 4th. Also, this is the 4th team we are talking about. Just saying.
Well, Curse is forever 4th, and I think X Special will. Pre-X Special, just Bunny Fufu, I feel like that 4th place would be something they'd have to fight for. But with X Special on the roster, I think it's solidly theirs. Like
at least they're
not solidly, but
at least they're.
I think they actually have a chance for it now because with CLG, TSM, C9, LMQ, and what I think will be Complexity Black, those teams are all really good. And those teams will all fight for the top spots, and they will definitely push down any team that's not at their top game. And so with Curse being my favorite team, it's really kind of painful to look at the next split and think, oh, they'll just be 4th. Maybe they'll do better. Now it's like, oh, I hope they don't get relegated. But I think X Special and Cop definitely has the power to carry the team.
Here is how you fix Curse, and it's really, really easy.
You put Quas mid and Voyboy top.
Yes, put Quas mid. I was like, okay,
but that's the thing, though. Quas has been performing so well up top lane. Have you seen his Renekton?
Hold on. Let me explain the psychology of Curse's manager. He's like, okay, so we have this mechanical genius known as Quas, and he climbed to Challenger in 2 weeks of playing of hitting level 30. He is a mid main, renowned for his ability to he plays very mechanically easy champions, but his mechanics are insane because he played on such a high ping for so long. The guy's in Challenger, the guy's a god. And then we have Voyboy. Voyboy is known for his hyper aggro top play style and playing non-meta champions. He's not the strongest roamer, but he tends to dominate his lane even when the jungler comes. So let's put Voyboy mid, and this mid main, let's put him top. Yeah, that works. That's perfect.
It's the dumbest idea. Is counter logic.
It's the worst idea I've ever.
Like the second.
Quas is a mid main. Quas is a mid laner. Quas, like the reason Quas does so well top is because he's really good. They waste him top. Voyboy would be better off top and have Quas mid. Quas is so good. Quas is so good, and they waste him. I
don't think it's wasted. He's been performing.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he would be so much stronger mid. Voyboy has been underperforming. Quas has been overperforming. Like, it's simple. Like,
I can agree with that.
When you actually look at the entire lineup of Curse, they don't actually have any weak players. Quas, like you just mentioned, is good.
He was their bloody support.
I Will Dominate is excellent. Voyboy has been subject to nerves, but overall he's still a good player. And Cop and X Special, come on, those two are some of the best players in the world. And I'm including Cop in that list because he is amazing considering his support repertoire.
I hope that X Special sticks for more than one split so that Cop doesn't have to play with 50 supports. Cop's like a single mother who can't find a guy to settle down with. That's how I feel Cop is. I feel so bad for the poor dude.
Well, I kind of feel bad for Bunny Fufu because Bunny didn't want to leave, but X Special was open, so.
Yeah, there's no no question.
Yeah, there was no. But Bunny is going to Curse Academy. So there's that. He's going to remain on Curse and Curse's Academy. Or I'm pretty sure he's going to Curse Academy. Also, there's another player going to Curse Academy that we all know. Mandatory Cloud is going to Curse Academy, guys.
Yeah. Talent wasted.
So we should talk about XDG's disbandment.
Yeah. What is there to say? How to go from worlds to relegations in one split? Jesus.
If they just dropped Zuna, they would have been fine.
No, if they didn't fuck around Zuna, like it's like, oh Zuna, you're a jungler now. Really? I'm an AD carry main. Yeah, no, you're
I
a
say
jungler now.
they should have just dropped
Yo,
Zuna
Xmithy, you're a
altogether.
really Xmithy, you're a world-class jungler, and you're one of the most talented junglers in the LCS. You're an AD carry now. It's so dumb. Who is doing this?
I think they were just bored with their roles as the whole I'm a cutie pie situation. He's a world class AD carry, but he's sick of the role. And I'm sure if they said, "Hey, cutie pie, do you want a jungle now?" He'd be like, "Yeah, anything but AD carry."
I don't know. It's dumb. They ruined it.
Yeah, well,
How many
she
times did they remake their team? Like first it was
Three.
Vulcan, right?
Vulcan,
Oh,
Or was there? And then they remade it to.
XDG. But now XGG disbanded, and the only confirmed players doing anything right now are Mandatory Cloud going to Curse Academy, and Sheep is looking for an
Cloud,
NACS.
Zombie Man.
So yeah, there's not much going on with the former XDG players.
Sheep actually on Twitter mentioned that he already had found an NACS team, and if it's gonna go through with joining them, he'll be announcing it sometime this week.
Okay. Other big news. Gambit Gaming, guys? Anyone really want to talk about that without crying?
Rippin' Pepperoni. The
Rest
fucking...
in pieces, Pepperoni.
And he is a father.
I'm gonna
He
be
is a
honest. That team could have possibly Alex Ish did not deserve to be there. Alex, people say that Shifter was in Elo Hell. Alex Ish was in Elo Hell. The thing is, they trolled so hard during every game because they knew they would win. Because to be honest, Gambit could be number one. If they try-harded every game, they would be number one easily. They just don't try hard every game. They can't be asked. And you know what? It's come to bite them in the ass because I honestly think Alex Ish is one of the top 5 mids on the planet. That guy, if you saw his games during relegation where he went 13-0-4, had 100% kill participation and 400 farm at 30 minutes, he played insanely. I've never seen anyone play that good. That guy, his team mistreated him.
Yeah.
They fucked him around, and that guy is stupidly good. That guy needs to stay in the pro scene because he is so talented. That guy is almost as good as Faker. That guy is almost as good as Faker. He's probably better than Flurry.
And he's a great player. And as you said, his team's just fucking around. Darien smoking too much weed, going crazy in the games. And I think Genja too has been getting in on Darien's stash because with his builds and whatnot and the way he's been performing. But yeah, he's really.
But like I said, they know they're gonna win. They just mess around.
Yeah, did you see Genja's build with Static Shiv, IE, Zephyr, and Yomu's Ghostblade on Lucian, along with Boots? It was crazy. These people troll so hard, and then the AP Renekton with their own wrecker, and the Varela Namakan and the Zanyas. Yeah, Deathcap Shyvana. It's just, they troll too much.
Manamune Chalks. Yeah.
Well, he wanted some mana. Yeah.
They trolled really hard, and I could understand why Alex just couldn't take it anymore. And he has a family. Now he gets a chance to just stay with his family for a bit.
He's a father and he has a beautiful wife, so now he can.
Yeah. I mean, his son is 1 years old already. He needs to be there for his son.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm sad about it, but I'm also kind of happy for him. He finally getting a chance to spend it with his time with his family. So,
alrighty, tidy. LMQ Arena. LMQ.
they're good. They're looking strong.
They're Asian. They're Asian, so they're going to be number one. That's all I have to say.
And why is that?
This is the China hype train. Ackerman was fucking Season 3 World Finals. Kid's a god.
I wouldn't say that they're a guaranteed number one, though. I feel like with all the roster changes every other team is going through, I don't think it's going to be an easy number one, and I don't actually think they will end up number one. I feel like TSM and CLG will be number one.
I think TSM or I agree. I think TSM or CLG, like with Seraph, I think TSM, CLG, or LMQ will be number one. I do not think C9 will be number one. I think C9 will be a rank 4 team. I think the weakest point of TSM was their jungler. No offense, Odd One, like you will be missed. Possibly one of my favorite pros to have ever lived. It's true. He was their weakest point, and with this new god of a jungler that TSM is getting, I like
and
it.
with the new support, they can synergize better bot lane.
Good.
So the two weakest links for pretty much now become their two strongest points, in my opinion.
I agree.
And so they should be performing admirably.
I'm glad. I don't know. Next split is going to be really entertaining, and I'm nervous for it, if I'm honest, and I'm excited for it, and I think Seraph is going to be... I think Seraph and Amazing are really going to bring some mix-up. I think they're really going to impact the scene quite heavily. I think if we take into account how weak North America's junglers are, with the exception of Meteos, and how North America has only 2 good top laners, no offense to Zion Spartan, I think it's going to bring some mix-up. I mean, they're bringing a fucking Korean into the mix. We've never had how many Koreans have we had besides Loco Doco in North America?
None.
And he only played support, wasn't it?
Support and AD carry.
And he wasn't even there for long. He was there for 2 weeks or whatever. It wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even. I'm ready. My body is ready for the Korean hype train.
So, who wants to welcome back Westerice?
Westerice. Dyrus does.
Oh my goodness, Westerice.
I can't.
Westerice was one of the reasons, was part of the lineup when I first started liking Curse. Westerice, and then eventually Void Boy, but then with Nijaki and everyone else. Man, and Saint Vicious, especially Saint Vicious is the guy who taught me how to jungle through his streams. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like a little bit of nostalgia coming back. Hey, I'm really good with smite stealing, but I don't know. It's a good bit of nostalgia, but at the same time, Westerice isn't exactly the strongest player right now. So
yeah, he's gonna get shit.
He's.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I've heard that in the Challenger series, when he's not stressed out, he's actually really good. But I haven't actually seen him play at a high enough level to, constitute being LCS. I mean, he's definitely LCS level, but just not top of LCS.
I honestly think that they're going to be the complexity. Are they complexity or complexity black? What are they?
They're complexity black.
Complexity. They disbanded Red,
so yeah, they're just complexity now. But
I think they're going to be a single threat team. Their bot lane. Their bot lane. They're just going to be the bot lane. Top lane, Westerice is just going to be a placeholder. No offense, I like Westerice. Mid lane and jungle are going to tear apart. If they're going to win, it's going to be because of those guys. Prolly is amazing. Prolly held up, if not one lane versus Zhao Wei Zhao. He went even with Zhao Wei Zhao every time they play. He did well. He did not fail his lane. And I think we can all admit that Zhao Wei Zhao is probably going to be the strongest mid laners coming into North America.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone's going to take down Bjergsen solo, 1v1, it's going to be Zhao Wei Zhao, because Zhao Wei Zhao plays Chinese meta. Like maybe actually LMQ don't tend to play Chinese meta that much.
They don't. They play
It's-
more towards the NA meta.
It's really odd. They're playing with like Chinese solo lanes, but with an American meta. Like you can still expect to see Zhao Wei Zhao like go stupidly aggressive, and like tower dive. But I don't know. I think if anyone's gonna take down Bjergsen from his little throne, from his little king of mid throne, then yeah, it's gonna be Zhao Wei Zhao.
Probably. The fuck? Sorry, I just got flashed on.
You're playing League?
Speaking of probably, I would argue that, ever since his debut in Complexity Red, Crawley has been a really strong and solid player.
Crawley
you're
is
just talking about how he won lane.
Crawley is
Crawley's
also
against,
very
like, the best of
unpredictable.
the best.
That's what's really good,
Crawley-
good about
Crawley
him.
I
one of
think
the best
Crawley
in
has
NA.
he has actual I actually think that guy has psychological issues.
Mm.
Like
Have you seen his
Crawley?
interviews? They're genius.
the guy is a god. The guy is a god. I fucking love him, and that's why I think no one's gonna be like. That's why I think he could probably. I think if anyone's
He
gonna
could
get
probably-
a solo kill,
Probably.
I think this is already gonna be like this next split's gonna be a mix-up because I think you've got so many new talents. Like you've got new jungle talent, you've got new top talent, you've got new mid talent. Like you've got two new amazing mid laners. You've got so much mix-up in the bot lane, and oh my god, it's gonna be so. I just can't wait. It's gonna be. It's not gonna be. Oh, I'm gonna watch LCS and I'm gonna watch TSM's bot lane win and TSM's top lane go even and TSM's mid lane get solo kills all the time and TSM's jungle be TSM's jungle. It's gonna be. It's gonna be. All right, cool. Like I want to see how Curse's bot lane now stand up against TSM's bot lane. I get to see what Complexity's new jungle mid synergy is gonna be like. I get to see how LMQ, actually work versus LCS level teams. It's yeah.
It's gonna be exciting and fun,
Mhm.
I believe.
I
Yeah.
agree. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
But I especially have a lot of hope for Complexity. I'm probably going to switch my Curse Flare to Complexity.
You're changing the
I-
flare.
You're
You're
changing.
right.
I think I will.
Flare. I'm gonna change my.
I
flare. Where's my
probably
flare?
will.
I don't
Probably
even.
will.
Where's my Z? I'm gonna get a Z flare. That's all I play. Yeah.
So that was.
So
I hope there's
Right.
no more
Well,
roster
there's one more
changes.
team that we haven't.
Well, EG.
Oh no, there's definitely more.
There's more.
The next team that we're going to talk about, EG, has already stated that they're looking at more roster changes, as
Yeah.
well as Curse. So
but
it's not over yet, guys.
It's
Yeah.
Snoopy question mark Areno.
Yeah.
Snoopy
Is
question.
it Snoopy or is it Yellow Pete?
Snoopy or Yellow Pete? I think it'll be Snoopy.
Yellow Pete's saying they can't get rid of
They
him.
can't get rid of him. Like, at this point, that guy is like so motivated. Like he sang "Eye of the Tiger." Like you don't get more motivated than that. That's like Rocky 3 level shit. Like they're gonna.
Sealed. Okay, those guys like Crap or Froggen, Snoopy, and Yellow Pete sang "Eye of the Tiger" before in bed once. There's a video of that. They sang it in bed.
I don't want to know what videos
Together.
you have been watching, Haruka Shinigami. Disgusting. That's
Probably
really
a
well.
Pookie video.
Pooksy video. Pooksy, did you say? Oh, we'll link that. No, I'm just kidding. We'll link that. I'll link it when Haru's streaming or something.
No.
Yeah. Nah.
No.
TSM. TSM play.
TSM.
So yeah, I don't know. This split's gonna be pretty cray McGray.
Mm.
Oh, it even has a little current topic thing. Okay.
Were you?
Should we move on to the topic of health at all, or do you wanna?
Oh no, that's for another day. So yeah,
Right.
for the most part, that's
I think we've covered everything.
I think we've covered everything for the time being. That was great. For those of you who are watching this stream live, thanks a lot for dropping by. And
agree.
for those of you who will be watching this on YouTube, which will be posting the link to Haru's stream, will be down below, and feel free to go follow her stream because we do the podcast once a week, or at least that's our goal. So yeah.
All right. We love you. Oh, ending introductions.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Stout. I am from Europe, the Europs, and
He is our European emissary of the league.
I'm the guy who watches like all the European.
Connoisseur of the finer things.
I also keep up mostly with Korea. I'm big into the Korean scene. And this is Ozone. Ozone is kind of our... Say hello, Ozone.
What's up, everybody? Y'all already know me. I don't need to introduce myself.
Ozone doesn't really follow the pro scene or anything.
Yeah.
No, he's here as our video editor.
Scrub.
He's here as our video
Ozone's a
editor.
complete scrub. He's our video editor. Okay, so that's what he's doing here. I'm just joking. Man, it's been a pleasure. I'm Gold Throne, and I'm a sub for the fourth member of this podcast. And it's been a pleasure talking with you guys this week. And
yeah.
I'll let Hanako wrap it up.
So yeah, I'm Haruka Shinigami. I am the host of this podcast, and I'm glad you guys are all here to help to discuss with us the current events of League of Legends and all of the roster changes in the professional scene. I hope you guys will come back next week. And yeah, I don't know what to say. I love you all.
See ya, nerds.
See ya, nerds.
I'm gonna go play some League.
Yeah.